Well, greetings, my friend. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Real Talk Show. I hope you guys are having an incredible day. I'm so happy to be here among you. We are going to have a phenomenal time tonight on the show. And so before we start the show, I always like to check in with you and just check your pulse and see how things are going and making sure that you've had a wonderful week and that things have been fantastic for you. I know I have been just overwhelmed with great news about all of the different graduations getting ready to come up in high school, college, across the nation, internationally. People are graduating, things are happening, success is happening. People are just thriving and just taking advantage of this phenomenal season. And speaking of that, before I bring on our guest, she also is accomplishing some very fantastic things at this time as well. And so I just want to say my heart goes out to all of you guys. I hope that you're able to persist and have a phenomenal outcome in your life this season. And so with that said, before I bring on our guest, I do want to give you guys some reminders that, for one, yes, the Real Talk Show with Dr. G.R.I.T will be aired on the radio station SoulNet WKDH every Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you visit www.soulnetwkdh.com to tune in. Thank you to Ken and the team for your fantastic work on that. It is an honor to be on that platform. And not only there, the Real Talk Show will also be aired on Swain Girl Media Channel with Precious Swain on Fire Stick. So make sure you tune in there and look up the Swain Girl Media Channel to find the Real Talk Show with Dr. India White there as well. Make sure you tune in. Don't miss out on these opportunities to always catch replays and to check in live on what we're doing. The best is always yet to come. We'll always have some great things going on. And also, if you are not a part of my tribe yet, or you're just now getting to know me, welcome, hello. I would love for you to follow me, and I also will follow you. And my Facebook handle is Miss India White. My LinkedIn handle is The India White. My Twitter handle is Indie Speak and Teach. My Instagram handle is Indie238, and my YouTube channel is India White 123. So make sure you stop by and give me a holler. Follow me when you get a chance. And then, like I said before, I'll be able to follow you guys back. I'm super excited about that. And then, of course, I was very excited to announce to you guys last week the launching of my new website. It's still the same tag of www.india-white.com. Please go check out my new website, www.india-white.com. And I'm going to see if I can write this up for you. New website. Hopefully this works. So www.india-white.com. I know some of you guys saw the newspaper article that came out last week or earlier Sunday this week on my life and on Dr. Clyburn, who is now a published author. Please make sure you also check out his book, I Am Because We Are, on Amazon.com. You can go there and buy his book, I Am Because We Are, Dr. Clyburn. And then, of course, you can go to my website and check out the many books, blogs, if you want an event, speaking event, things like that. There you have it. Now, I've said a lot in a little bit of time, and I hope you're not overwhelmed. But it's not about me. This show today is about a rock star who is doing some fantastic work. And so, with that said, I am now going to bring on to our show from Atlanta, Georgia, Kenya Scott. She is a speaker, business owner, and mom. Welcome to the show, Kenya.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me.
Yes, it is an honor to have you. How are you? How are things going?
I am doing well. Things have been blessed and I've been positive. That's how I try to look at life, is just stay positive as much as you can and positive things will happen.
That's right. I love that attitude. I'm loving your vibe. You're radiating over there. And so
Thank
that
you.
said, tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
So I am 29. I just bought a home a few months ago.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Once I became a new mom, it was either if I wasn't going to be a mom, I was going to get a condo on the 65th floor somewhere. And then I became a mom. So I said, you know what? Let me get my son a backyard so he can play outside and I can leave him something in the future.
Excellent. Love it. Absolutely fantastic. And so, wow, congratulations. I know, man, that's a whole nother level of responsibility. And,
Yes, ma'am.
congratulations. And
Thank you.
nothing like having a good credit score.
Thank you.
So, wow, already 29, you've purchased a home. Fantastic. Tell us about where you're from and just your life journey that's led you up to this point today.
So I've been in Atlanta almost my whole life. I was born in Chicago. Um, I've just always been determined. I've always been independent and determined. God has always put it on my spirit. Speak what you want into existence and it will happen.
Yes, I
And
love
that's what I've always done. I've always dreamed of getting a home. I followed there's a group on Facebook. It's called, I think it's Each One Teach One or Dream Credit Group of Atlanta, not of Atlanta, of the world. And
Okay.
they've always put little guidelines of free things that we can do because we're quick to go pay somebody to help us when we can just open the book and read it and we can do it ourselves and save hundreds or thousands of dollars. So I always pick up a book and try to learn something myself before I pay somebody else to do something. So
Excellent.
that's always been my motto. Pick up a book,
Excellent.
learn how to do it yourself. And if you absolutely can't do it yourself, then seek help.
That's awesome. And so, that kind of led you to where you are now. So tell us about your journey, your education, your, just all other kind of fantastic things. I see your little guy over there
Yes,
hanging out.
ma'am.
He's a
So
kitty.
thank you. His name is Chase.
Chase. Very nice. Nice
Thank
name.
you.
You're
So
welcome.
I'm in school. I've been in and out of school. It's been with my condition that we're going to talk about later. It's kind of made it hard to go back to school and kind of have the patience. And also with being a mom, I thought I was going to be a super mom, but sometimes that doesn't go how you think it's going to go.
Right.
And you can't blame yourself either. You just got to keep going and stay positive. So, I was in school, but I took a break from school. My fiance and I, we have our own towing business. We have two tow trucks, and we started everything from scratch. He looked on YouTube one day, and him and my dad took it off the ground. And so far, that's what we've been doing. I have a regular 9 to 5, but on the side of my 9 to 5, I'm a young business owner.
I absolutely love that. And so I know, Kenya, people are probably going to ask you, how are you juggling all this with your little man in the back? You've got towing business, in and out of school, fiance, and then, being a mom. So, how have you been able to strategize through that and be successful at this?
I'm not gonna lie, it gets overwhelming sometimes to the point where I have to go, you know what, take a break and breathe. And I try to write things down and I try to give everything a time.
Mhm.
And throughout that time, that's how I try to plan my day. So every day I'll say, you know what, during this time, we're going to do this and this. And at this time, we're going to do this and this. And so that's how I strategize my day.
Wonderful. So just time management. And
Yes,
so
ma'am.
did you ever feel at a time that, maybe all hope was lost, or that you didn't know if there was like hope in your future because now that you're a mom, did you ever feel like, oh, well, now all I have, in front of me is motherhood. I don't really know how to do anything else. Like, how did you work through that?
So At first, so I took a year off because I've done many speaking engagements for my condition. And so when I became a mom, I kind of just put everything on hold so I could learn how to be a mom. Because I was one of those moms like, no, the book said don't do that. No, I watched the video, it said don't do that. So to focus on taking care of my child and how to be my own person and not follow the book or what he or she say. Um, Once I learned that down pat, I kind of picked back up wanting to do speaking engagements once I learned how to organize my time and time management.
Right. Excellent. Wow. So, yeah, so you're a speaker on top of all that. So tell us, how did all of that fall into your lap?
All of this, so I've always been a speaker before um, my surgery happened. I've always been in talent shows, winning talent shows for poetry. I've always spoke at the Black History programs.
Very
It's
nice.
always been, and I always wanted to be an actress. So when my condition happened, that's what allowed me to really get out there and put the word out and find my true calling.
So, talk to us now about your conditions. I know people are wondering, like, what is her story? So we all have a unique story, and
Yes.
you've had the courage to share your story with so many and to be a success story that has really impacted society in a great way. So tell us a little bit about how you got here and what is your story?
So my story is, sorry, I'm just switching background. So my story starts with a migraine that never went away. I was only 22 or 21, and I always tell people because when I send people messages on Facebook, I look like this. So most people don't think that I'm telling the truth or they have to go investigate because I guess they're so used to being scammed. So I always start my story off as, imagine getting a phone call from the ER saying that your daughter or son or loved one is getting ready to have emergency brain surgery and you need to get to the ER because it's a 50% chance that they're getting ready to live or die.
Wow.
And from there, it started with the migraine. It never went away. Um, for 6 months, I would go to the doctor and I would say, I would scream for help, like, hey, can you guys help me? My brain is hurting. It's not a headache anymore. It's to the point where I can feel my brain hurting and I need help. They never took me serious. They thought that I wanted pain medication. However, I never took pain medication a day in my life. Um, they thought that I was just being young. Sometimes I thought they were being racist, and it wasn't just white people; it was black people too. That was just like you're young, black, and dumb. Pretty much is how they made me feel. Um,
Sorry you went through that.
Thank you. One day I was laying down and I got up and I could feel like fluid just rushing through my head to the point where for an average person, it felt like someone going down a roller coaster, and it was that point where you drop and your stomach drop and your
Yeah.
brain just goes blank.
Yeah.
And that's how I felt. And I said, okay, something's not right. I watched Dr. Oz and I went to the doctor and I said, well, Dr. Oz said it's not right. And they're like, do you even know Dr. Oz? And I'm like, no, I don't know him, but I watch his show every day. And he said, if you have a migraine or headache for longer than 3 days, get to the ER.
Mm.
And one day I was just sitting in church and a preacher preached about three types of people: pessimistic, optimistic, and realistic. And I realized I was being three people all at once. But I said, you know what? Let's be optimistic about this. And on my way to the hospital that night, I was praying and I was throwing up at the same time and driving, literally just hanging out the window driving, trying to get to the ER. And I went and I said, someone has to help me or I'm getting ready to die. And they found a 4.5 centimeter cyst, and it was 80% mass, and they also found hydrocephalus.
Oh, wow. And what happened next?
So what happened next was I was prepped for surgery. They had to cut all my hair off. At the time, I was 21. I didn't know anything. I never knew anyone that had brain surgery. So I was like, hey, what do you mean you have to cut all my hair off? Um, I had brain surgery, neck surgery, and stomach surgery all at once. They told my mom to give me a hug and a kiss because it was a 50% chance I was going to live or die. And they said she may not be able to walk or talk again. Your whole life is getting ready to change. However, before all this happened, I had been getting closer and closer to God. God had been calling me like, hey, me and my friends would go out on Saturday. I said, we're going to be in church at 9 o'clock on the dot. So let's get to church. So I was in church every single day, making Facebook statuses saying, I'm so grateful God woke me up this morning. I'm not in a jail cell. I'm not in a casket. And I was just saying these things just to say them. And so, when they told me to pray, they said, I mean, not pray, they said count backwards from 5. I didn't count backwards from 5. I started praying backwards to God.
Wow.
And when I woke up and said, hello, I thought you guys said I wasn't going to be able to talk. I'm talking.
Wow.
So, yes, ma'am.
Oh my word. I'm so happy you're still here. What an
Thank
honor.
you.
I mean, you got me emotional here. What an honor to have you on my show. Thank you so much for sharing this dynamic story. Talk to us
Thank you.
about, wow, talk to us about the fear you might have faced before surgery to know that you might not wake up again.
I knew I had to be strong for my mom because my mom and my dad, they both work hard. Um, at the time they weren't together. My mom, it was me and my little sister. So, she worked literally like 12, 13 hours a day. And so my friends, I knew I had to be strong for them because I put it on Facebook like, hey guys, pray for me. I finally found out why I'm having these headaches. And I received so much attention when I
Yes.
finally said I'm getting ready to have brain surgery because it still didn't dawn on me that it was
Wow.
something serious. It wasn't
Yeah.
I didn't take it as serious as everyone else was. And I'm like, why is everyone taking it so serious? But when they said it's a test, you won't wake up again, I said,
Yeah.
okay, let me start praying because I know
Yes.
I'm going to wake up again. I rebuke the devil.
Right.
So,
Oh,
a
yeah.
side story, my mom and my family was waiting in the waiting area with another man's family. After surgery, he woke up and he only lived for 30 minutes and passed away with the same condition and had the same surgery.
Wow. You talk about grace and talk about destiny. It's God sovereignly took them and God sovereignly brought you back. And I think it's to be a phenomenal story, and testimony for us that are here on the earth. And so what do you think was maybe 2 to 3 main points that you have learned from this experience that you would like to share with us?
For one, if you know that something's not right in your body, go to the doctor. Don't listen to anybody else. Don't listen to Google because Google will really have you think that you're right in your will.
Right.
And listen, God put that on your heart for a reason. So listen to yourself because you are your own doctor at the end of the day, and you have to make them take you serious.
Yeah,
The
I
other,
love that because you are right, especially even men that they have cancers and conditions and they never get checked out because they've got it together and their lives are being shortened when they could have been saved. And so I just
exactly.
think this is very interesting that you really did advocate for yourself. So you're saying to us the first thing is to listen to your body, listen to your gut and follow through. What what
Yes,
is
ma'am.
what is some other what is another suggestion you would have for
The
us?
other suggestion is once you find out something serious is happening, stay positive because you can make your own self sick by thinking negative.
Oh,
You can make yourself have to be on medication every day, have to get on disability, can't work anymore, along because you're stuck in a house, you can't go anywhere. So you have to stay positive. I don't take one pill to this day, and I've met many people that has this condition. They live on medication. So I had to learn how to do everything all over again. I had to learn how to pronounce certain words and walk and drive. I had to start over like a baby. And it was either, okay, are we just going to accept that we have this disability and Also, with the surgery, I have hydrocephalus, which is fluid on the brain, and they had to insert a tube inside of me that I have to live with for the rest of my life. It drains the fluid from my brain and helps my brain stay at the normal size. And so that was hard on me at first because, for one, I could feel it in my body and I can still feel it. And so when you go through a life changing event, stay positive, pray. Do not. Most people want to pull away from God because they can't believe it happened to them. And they're just like, why did God do this to
Wow.
me? You know what? I don't want to deal with God no more. However, you better get as close to God as you can, because you're getting closer to the devil and you don't know it. And he's going to talk you either into just disowning God or suicide, because your whole life has
Wow.
changed, and there's no need to let the devil bring you down into a sinking depression place.
Wow. Talk about that anger at God. Did you go through a phase where you thought, Lord, why me? I just want to be a normal 20 something year old chick. You've got me in surgery with these people. And, it's kind of like that Job situation I read about, in scriptures where his wife said, curse God and die, just curse him and die. Did you ever feel like, how did you get that together? Like, no, I'm not going to do that. And how did you accept the sovereignty of God in your life in this situation?
Again, I was 21, 22. So 21-year-old me before Chase was partying, having a good time,
Mhm.
just out living my best life. When I had surgery, I couldn't do that anymore. My friends had to get used to the new Kenya. The new Kenya couldn't do that
Wow.
anymore. People felt like I talked about what happened to me too much. They felt like, because I would look like this. I
Mm.
had my best friend come to the hospital. I said, "Look, honey, you need to do something to my hair and put some lashes and my eyebrows on." Literally the next day. And I joke a lot. I am the biggest jokester ever. I told my best friend, if anything happens to me, you guys just make sure you put some real nice lashes on me. So they know that I'm a jokester. So reality hit when I knew that I couldn't go out anymore, and I had to walk around with half of my hair shaved off, a big scar down the back of my head and my neck.
Mm.
And when I would walk around, people would look at me crazy. I could barely walk, so I was sitting in the little electric mobile wheelchairs, and people would look at me like, "Why are you in there?" They would say
Wow.
things like, "That's for people that really needs to be in there, not people like you."
Wow. Wow.
And it was to the point where I would say, "Okay, God, I mean, why is all these people? Don't they see what's going on? So why do they keep on nitpicking at me?" And I would get upset because I couldn't remember certain things that I did 5 minutes ago. It made me angry. I'm not going to lie
Yeah.
about that. After surgery, my anger quickened a lot. And I would find myself getting more and more angry until one day I said, "You know what, Kenya? It's up to you how you do this. So
Yeah.
let's take a whole 360 and let's pray about it. And we're going to start speaking positivity over our life so we can be positive." And once I started doing that, everything started to get better, a day at a time, a day at a time. It was to the point where I had a physical therapist come to my house for 2 months. And it was to the point where when he would come, I'd be like, "I don't even want to do this. I don't want to learn how to walk anymore. If it got to take all this, I don't want to do it."
Mm.
And in the hospital, I was the same way. And they walked me down, the nurse walked me down to the rehab facility where people my age and older people couldn't walk anymore and they were stuck in the bed. And I said, "You know what? We're about to get up here and walk out this hospital today, because you can be over here stuck, but you can actually get up if you just try."
Yeah. This is a powerful, excuse me, it's a lot. It's a powerful testimony, and you need to be heard. And it just shows the grit that you have, and it shows that you didn't lay there in excuses and feel sorry for yourself. And it makes people, everyday people that never worry about getting up and walking, really realize how grateful they need to be and how not to complain. So, how did you get to the place where you just didn't complain and you just accepted it, and you became this beautiful,
Thank you.
speaker and rock star that you are today? So, how did you get to that place where you were able to kind of muster up enough faith and strength and say, I'm not complaining, I'm just gonna find the best in the situation? What was your strategy?
Friends would, I would tell friends, since I couldn't go out and go places, send me to a hotel so I can go write. And I would watch sermons from all kind of preachers, and I would sit there and listen to their sermon, and I would go back and try to rewrite my own sermon. And when I
Wow.
started doing that, because I tried to get my story out in the beginning, and I would go up to news stations and say, hey, can I tell you my story so I can spread awareness? I don't care about me, I just want to get the awareness out there. They would say, ma'am, if we only talk about people that got shot, we don't care about what you're saying. And I heard no so many times, and I said, okay, well, maybe no one wants to hear about this. Until I said, you know what, we're going to hear the right yes. And I just kept on and
Wow.
kept on and kept on until eventually I became heard by hundreds and thousands of people. I found groups on Facebook with people that was just like me. I created maybe 5 t-shirts for people that were living and people that had passed away from a brain cyst, a brain tumor, a brain aneurysm, a concussion, because it's just not brain surgery falls under brain cysts and tumors. It can happen from a concussion. You can go
Wow.
outside and get into a bad accident, and it can cause you to have brain surgery. So I found those people, took
Right.
my time and put their name on the t-shirts, and I sold them those t-shirts, and I said, I just want this to be something full of pride and joy. And unfortunately,
Yeah.
some of those people that were in the living category, they had to move down to the angels category. But I felt like I made a difference in their life by creating that t-shirt.
Yeah. And you did. You did. Don't ever think that that effort was not, something that was impactful or that it was in vain, because I mean, you're impacting you're impacting this. I'm telling you, the people that are going to watch this show are definitely being impacted with this moving story. Um wow. So, what do you think, what has been, I guess, what tell us about maybe something that was a little upsetting or heartbreaking during this process that you were able to overcome?
I had to have a second surgery. That's what the heartbreaking thing was, because the doctors treated me like pure dirt on the ground. And in order for them to take me serious again, they treated me like pure dirt on the ground the second time. They would send me home on strong medication, to the point where one day I went and picked my best friend up and I said, I don't even know how I made it here. I went to the doctor and told them I wasn't feeling well. They put me on some medication and kicked me out the door. And when I got to her, I said that sentence and literally passed out. And I kept going to the doctor, kept going to the doctor, would literally cry and say, why aren't you guys taking me serious? I'm not making this stuff up. I don't want to just have a second surgery. So one day I went to the ER and they said, ma'am, you're getting ready to go into a second surgery. Your tube just failed on you in your body. And if you would have went home and went to sleep, you would have passed away. And I was upset that it was happening again. I couldn't believe that I had to go through all that all over again that I just overcame. And I took it with a grain of salt. They treated me horribly in the hospital the second time, and I couldn't believe that either.
What
But
did
I
they
said,
do?
um, they when they took me out, the one they my mom saw how they were doing because I was still her baby, even though I was 22. So she
Yeah.
was there watching me. They asked her to leave, and when she left, they would take hours to check on me. It was to the point where I had to use the restroom and I had a fall wrist bracelet on. They wouldn't come back and get me for like 30 minutes, and I'm just sitting in bed trying to hold it and not urinate on myself. Um, when they removed me from the ICU, they put me in this other room. They left me there for hours. When they finally came back, I said, ma'am, I'm so hungry. She said, I'm sorry, we forgot about you. We didn't even know you were here. Here goes a turkey
Oh
sandwich.
my word.
So it was things like that where some of the nurses would come in there and just have a bad day. And I was like, look, if you don't want to be here, just send somebody in here who want to be here and you can just go home for the day on me, because I didn't
Wow.
want that energy.
Right.
But I overcame it.
Wow. That's so sad that, you know, people want to dish negative energy on, someone that is vulnerable and someone that they're supposed to serve. And it's unfortunate. I'm very sorry that you went through that. And so, goodness. So how did you rise from that?
What made me happy and kept me happy, I was in school the entire time and I wasn't feeling well. And then I received an email one day and said, you just made the dean's list. And so that's
Oh,
what got me back to where I
Yes.
was and said, you know what, Kenya, this is who you are. This is not who you are. This is just a test and you have to win the battle.
Wow.
So let's get up and keep winning like we've been doing. Put our boxing gloves back on and let's make it do what we've been doing.
Beautiful. You are not your diagnosis. You are Kenya.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
I mean, you're so beautiful. I would have, I could not just look at you and tell that you've been through two brain surgeries and so much more.
Thank
Um,
you.
you carry what you've been through very well.
Thank you.
And do you think there's like an overall message maybe that God, placed in you for people, or do you think there's something overall that you felt God was trying to bring out of you or something? What do you think about that?
I feel like God wanted me to tell my story, not only to make him famous, per Pastor William Murphy, to not only make him famous, but bring people closer to God. There's a scripture, and I apologize because I don't know scripture's word for word, but I do know that there's a scripture that says something about, I will use you to make my name great, to bring people closer to me. And your name will be written on the hearts of people that you barely know.
Wow.
And I just want to, by telling my story, I've had people reach out to me from all over the world to say, hey, I read your story and listened to you and you saved my life. I went to the hospital because of you
Wow.
or because of my condition, because normally people with hydrocephalus are babies and elderly people. It was rare when I caught it. So I had people that had babies that was reaching out to me saying, hey, you know why my baby is doing this? And I'm like, well, this happens to me when I do ABC, so maybe you should try this. And they say, hey, I listened to you and it made a big difference.
Wow. I would love to see you have a website that you could create for awareness for people if you don't have one already. Where you
No,
talk
ma'am.
about like red flags, awareness of the condition and what people need to look at, and maybe you can tell your story and even have people sign up to hire you as a speaker and you know consulting or whatever. I know I just gave you a destiny, but but I'm
Yes,
just saying,
ma'am.
like, I feel like you need to do that. I know you can create one on Wix.com, or you can get some phenomenal people to create your website for you, but you definitely need to take it to the next level. I would recommend that because you're saving lives of children, of older people your age, and wow. So, I hope that you can take advantage of, an opportunity to raise awareness on an actual website. But it makes me think too, like, so you're still so young. How have you been able to just, I mean, you talk about being optimistic and keeping that youth and that vibe of positivity. Like, what's your go-to? Do you have like a go-to scripture? Do you have go-to people? Do you have go-to songs? Like, what does it for you?
What does it for me is this little boy running up to me. And my pastor, William Murphy,
I
Tasha
Praise is
Cobb.
what I do. Praise is what
Yes,
I do, William
ma'am.
Murphy.
Yes,
Girl,
ma'am. Praise is what I
oh
do.
my gosh.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
hear that song. That song,
And that song,
uh,
that particular song, yes, ma'am.
woo, powerful, powerful.
I
Wow.
remember moments where I used to walk around the living room and I literally just walk in circles. And if someone was watching me, it would probably be like, what is wrong with her? Just listening to gospel music and just thinking and meditating and just walking around saying, hey, this is what we're going to be thankful for. This is what we want to speak into existence. And this is what we're
Yes,
going to stop complaining for. And literally would walk around in circles for to the point where I would start running sometimes for just 30 minutes
yes.
straight, just
Wow.
listening to gospel songs back to back to back to back.
You seem like a person of great faith. And I know that doesn't start in your 20s. What do you attribute to that? What gave you that level of faith to where, I mean, you survived two brain surgeries. Talk about your faith journey and all of that, and where did it stem from? Was it Sunday school? Was it, talk to us about that.
It started from when I was born. I was born on Valentine's Day. And my mom said when I was born, I died and the doctors had to bring me back alive. And so I
Oh,
think
wow.
that's where it started from. And then my dad always would call me and we would sit on the phone and we would talk about he would talk about scriptures with me. So of course, I'm a teenager or younger and I'm just like, yeah, yeah, okay, I'm gonna call you back. But I was really listening to what he was saying and hearing what he was saying, and I would go back and research different verses. And when I got older is when it stuck with me. When I started doing things on my own, like, hey, Kenya, you might want to pray before you walk outside because you never know. Tree could fall or something can happen. So let's start praying more. Let's start being thankful. And then he would always tell me, pray over everything, touch everything around you, and just say thank you. And that's what I started doing more before the surgery. I would just say, hey, like I said in the beginning, thank you, God, I'm not in a jail cell, or thank you, I'm not in a casket today. Just waking up every single day and just being thankful. And now that I know what can happen, because sometimes I forget and I have to make myself remember, hey, this is where you could go back. So let's be thankful. When I find myself being ungrateful, I just
Uh,
take a moment to pause and take a deep breath and say, it's okay. Let's start over. Let's take a woosah and start over. And now let's get back to what we were doing.
that is so needed in this time, in our society, in the nation, in the world.
Exactly.
Gratefulness. I think we've lost, as a people, we've lost a string of gratefulness. Waking up,
Yes.
being able to walk, being able to
Yes.
smell, being able to see, like,
Case with COVID. Yes,
grateful,
ma'am.
being grateful you're not in the hospital with COVID,
Yes,
or being
ma'am.
grateful you woke up. I'm so grateful that you pointed that out, because gratefulness is key. And I think, my bishop, my spiritual father, one of my spiritual fathers, Bishop Arnold, talks about how a grateful person can't be defeated. You cannot, the devil doesn't know what to do with somebody that's grateful. He doesn't. And so
Because
I
he would
think,
try.
yeah. So, it's, and so you talk a lot about, God and stuff, that you do ministry as well, or,
No, ma'am.
okay.
Inside my head, I do.
Okay.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
it's
Inside my head, that's it.
so you speak, and so you've been on, I'm sure, many stages. And so what's the trajectory now of what you're wanting to do to pay it forward in life, and into how you would envision paying it forward the next several years?
So before COVID, my goal has always been to visit hospitals and find a way to do that without violating HIPAA to, donate for myself. I have a hard time sleeping at night. Every single night, I toss and turn because of the hydrocephalus. I can't lay flat back because I start to feel really, really dizzy, like I'm dropping from somewhere. So I
Wow.
thought about other people that have had hydrocephalus or even brain surgery. I wanted to create a pillow project where I just give comfortable pillow to a patient and just add something on there with the sweet little messages to give them hope and to keep
I love
going.
it. That's a
I
business.
wanted to create a walk is what I
Yes.
wanted to do. Create a
5K.
big walk. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Look at these business ideas. I'm hoping that people will just snatch this up after the show, and partner with you, different nurses and doctors and philanthropists, that they can really help make this vision happen, especially there in Atlanta. Looks like you can get something patented, and really launch something phenomenal, because you're going to help so many people with this. I mean, even women that are having babies, they just want a nice
Right.
pillow with a word of encouragement on it.
Right.
So that's fantastic. So tell me this. So you're now a mom. Did you have a fear that you might not have been able to be successful at, giving birth, or things like
Yeah.
that, because of your condition?
Yes. Um, the doctors treated me horribly during pregnancy. I went through 5 doctors and they listed me as a problem patient. But because one doctor would say, "Hey, you don't have to worry about pushing. You can push the baby out." One doctor would say, "No, you have to have a C-section." So I'm like, which one is it? Because I'm reading that black women are dying, and they're one of the highest races to die during pregnancy. So I need to figure out what's going on, just in case we have to make a life decision. I'm going to choose the baby over me, but let's prevent all that first. And finally, I found the best doctor, and because of my condition, I had literally woke up and had a baby. They put me to sleep. They had the C-section, and I woke up. I couldn't receive any kind of epidurals, so I had to deal with the
Oh,
contractions the entire time because of my condition.
mm.
So, yes, ma'am. I don't plan on having any more. I'm gonna get a puppy.
Yeah, my hat goes off to you. I remember, having my little one, my daughter in particular, she's my first, and those contractions, they take pain to a whole nother level. I
Yes,
mean,
ma'am.
you're sitting there smiling one minute, and then the next minute you're like fainted out. Done.
Exactly.
Done.
Exactly.
You went through that. Kudos to you, Queen, because it's hard. Yeah, I
And
think
they
go
didn't
for
tell me
epidural.
until the last minute. I knew going in there, okay, we're gonna get the epidural at 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock came, she said, I'm so sorry. We're just now finding out. We can't give you an epidural. And I'm like, what?
Oh,
Because I had been praying for 10 o'clock to get there. And when 9:59 came, I said, ma'am, get in here right now. And she said, yeah, we can't give it to you. So I literally had to bring my faith back and say, okay, let's be positive because I don't know what else to do at this point.
wow. Oh my word. In healthy pregnancy, things are great, and so, oh my word, little Chase. And so I'm thinking, um if you have any advice for those that are dealing with conditions and, they're considering motherhood, and, what advice did you give to support them?
One, prayer. Two, change the people around you because the people around you are either going to make you or break you. Um, Stay away from those people that's always negative. When you have a great idea or you have a positive idea, you always have those Debbie Downers that always have the most negative thing to say in the world. Change your circle if that's what you have, because people will make you change your thoughts. And some people, they want to see you doing bad. They want to call you and hear you say, you know what, I'm not doing good today. In the background, they're kind of cheerleading at you not doing
Oh,
good today. So if you want to have, especially for people that faces infertility, you know what I'm trying to say.
yeah,
Um,
infertility?
yes, ma'am.
Yeah, have
So
children? Okay.
yes, if you're trying to have a baby, stay positive. Do not give up, because I know there's a lady at my job. She waited 3 years and she never gave up, and she finally had a baby. We had our baby at the same time. So you have to stay positive. That's the only way to be. I know I say that throughout the entire night, but try it and it will work.
That's beautiful. And you're right. And I think that it's just the sovereignty that decides whether or not he's gonna give you a baby or not. And you just have to
Right.
wait, you know.
Right.
And sometimes
Exactly.
get babies, they are not even planning it. And then there are other times, he just sovereignly has people wait 10 years because he knows that that's what's best for their life. So I think that's beautiful that
Exactly.
you pointed that out. And so, with that said, do you have any speaking events coming up, or any other things that you have, around the corner that you'd like to share with us that we could maybe support you in?
Um, for me on Kenya Scott for Facebook. I look just like this. So I think there's like 3 or 4 other Kenya Scott, so it's the one that look just like this. And I always share the day of or the day before of the speaking events that I have. Um, I wait to book events around this time because next month is brain tumor slash cyst awareness month. So my goal is to book as many events as I can as possible.
Okay, fantastic. So you said that we can go to Kenya Scott on Facebook. So I'm going to put your
Yes,
information up for everyone. So yeah, so Kenya Scott on Facebook, and then your Instagram is Kenya Red Kisses.
yes,
And then your email is kenyascott123 at gmail.com. So I'm going to leave that up there so people can write that information down and contact you if they, when they need you to speak or they need your services. And so, um, you are a rarity, Kenya. And so I have a question. How did you deal with the negativity around you and the naysayers and the people that were verbally just rude to you? How did you bounce back from that during this?
Um, I cut friends and family off. I felt bad at first, and then I didn't feel bad anymore because it's like, okay, you guys are close to me, so why are you bringing me down? You're supposed to lift me up. So it was hard, but once I got to a point where I didn't want to deal with it anymore, I cut them off and allowed them to come back to me to apologize. Um, Most people would see me like this and they're like, there's nothing wrong with her. She just wants to get out there to talk about what happened to her. There's nothing wrong with her at all. And I will remember creating statuses like, my sister is a makeup artist and she does hair. So I'm going to always keep myself looking like this no matter what happens to me. I'm going to always look like this, but I shouldn't have to explain to you why I choose to look like this and talk about what happened to me. I would have people that would send me messages, random messages, didn't know who they were, to my phone. They would send me messages to my inbox and they would tell me, hey, you're faking. Nothing's wrong with you. Get over it. It
People
happened
are
and over it.
interesting. People are
Yes.
interesting. I mean, the audacity to just come into your life and say foolishness. I don't understand what joy people get from lambasting you or tearing you down emotionally, attacking you. Like, what is it?
Because
I
it
don't get
did
that.
get to a point where I was like, okay, do I need to stop talking about this? Am I talking about this too much? And
It's
I
just,
did
no.
probably take a break. I
It's
took a
like,
break.
no. And the thing is, I've had to learn this as well. Some people don't want to see you shine. Some people are afraid that your light is shining brighter than theirs. Others are upset because they feel like, you're one upping them and you're not even trying to. And
And
then
it's the
others,
people that's near you.
yeah. And usually it's also they don't know your destiny. They don't know your purpose, so therefore they cannot appreciate what you're bringing to the table. They cannot. So they're like, they can't fathom ever seeing you in the light of being a speaker or prominent business owner. They can't grasp that because you're too familiar for them. And I'm telling this for everyone on the show that has ever dealt with the light dimmers. It is not your fault. It is because in their imagination, they never thought you would be that awesome. So when you do start telling them, I'm a speaker, I'm a business owner, I've got this going on, I'm a mom, and they start freaking out and they start coming at you, lashing out at you, and doing things to try to sabotage you and take you down, it's because in their mind, they had you at a lower level and you soared beyond a level in their mind that is acceptable. So therefore, they got to bring you down. So the number one thing is, even if they try to bring you down, you have to see it as muscle building for your heart, muscle building for your destiny. So just like we work out, I've been on a workout kick with some friends. You work out and you're tearing down those muscles. So when people come at you negatively and they say all kinds of things against you and they lambast you and they try to sabotage you, you have to see that as a workout for you. It's building your skin. It's building you, because eventually you'll be able to take it and not a tear will be shed. You won't have any anger coming from it. You'll be able to forgive those people and move forward. You'll be able to say, you know what? That
Yep.
didn't even phase me.
Yep.
But know this too. When it does phase you, it's because you love people. You have a
Yep.
heart of love. And you're disappointed because your love was disappointed. Doesn't make you weak. It doesn't make you foolish to cry or to feel hurt. It just makes you human. And it lets people see that you have a heart and you really do love. And your love has been disappointed. But we choose how we react. And so I want to encourage you with that. You cannot control people's perceptions of you and what they thought you should have been. I mean, I had a teacher that told, me once said, I was trying to become an AP student for English. I was already in AP Calculus. I was in AP Government. I was in Spanish 4 honors, and they didn't have AP Spanish back then. Those, you know, it was old school. And so I tried to do AP English, and I was 2 percentage points away from an A. I had a 92%. That's the old school A's. And and she said to me, I don't think you can do it. I just, you know, you have a 92. I don't think you have what it takes. Now, I mean, fast forward now, I've written 36 books, you know, of course, some are collaborations, and I majored in math. Math is my forte, but I feel like God has just put me on a trajectory of book writing and looking at, you know, blog writing and things, which is so weird because I had a teacher that said I was incompetent in the area of English. And so I say that because in her mind, I was not competent. You know, whether it was, you know, the container that I'm in, or whether it was the 2 percentage points, whatever it was, in her mind, she could not see me excelling as an AP student. And sometimes I always think, where would I be today had she given me an opportunity? And I know that even with you, you know, even with you, you're thinking, you know, where would I be if these family members or these naysayers or the people around me that should be close and supporting me would have just given me an opportunity and would have just supported me? How much more could we accomplish in the world if we would just come together and love and support each other and stop tearing each other down? Like, seriously, what do we get out of tearing each other down? I don't get it. So,
because it takes a lot more energy to be mad at someone than it does to support someone.
It does. And then you got to think of this. I am always thinking, I don't know about you, I am always thinking when I am laying on my deathbed, you know, God forbid it's anytime soon, I'm not taking none of this with me. I am taking my life experiences with me and how I treated people.
Yes, ma'am.
I will have to give an account for everything India White did, said, whatever. And I think that if people had that on their mind and they actually cared, they'd be very careful how they treated people, especially people of faith. And I think that that's why they think that they can get away with it because they don't fear God, you know, so they do whatever they want to do. And they say, you just deal with it, you know, and unfortunately they dim light and they tear down because in them, that's all they have to give. You know, and so with that said, how do you encourage those that have been torn down?
You have to build yourself back up. You can, people can help you build yourself back up, but then you have this fake smile going on with tears behind that smile. So you have to be confident with yourself. You have to become realistic with yourself about what you can do and what you can't do anymore, especially if you're going through surgery, if you're going through a traumatic experience, even if you lost a loved one. You have to become real with yourself, accept what happened, pray about it. And I don't want to say move on, like just forget about it, but move on and take that as a learning experience because everything happens for a reason. And God gives his hardest battles to the strongest people. And unfortunately, we go through different seasons in our lives. And of course, the Bible, it tells you he doesn't want you to be poor and struggling and unhappy. God wants you to be happy. He wants you to live your best life. And he tells you what he wants you to do, but he also give you a manual and you have to follow that manual because someone can sit and tell me all day long, Kenya, you're beautiful. Kenya, get up. It's happy. It's a pretty day outside. Kenya, let's go do this and do that and do this, that, and the third. And if you are not feeling that way, you're going to tear yourself down. And so it's always like those commercials that you see where they're like, hey, how are you? And the person's smiling, but then they have that mask on. It's a mask that's smiling, and then their face in the background is just a sad, pathetic person. You don't want to walk around like that in real life. And I know a lot of people, especially my age group, like to say, oh, you know, I'm toxic or I'm crazy or I really do have something wrong with me. Stop claiming it over yourself. It's not pretty. It's not cute.
It's not.
It's not at all.
It's not. And you don't have to own that. And I like to say too, never bankrupt your soul. Like never bankrupt your emotion and who you are and your opportunities to dream again, to try again, to start over because of an experience that was negative in your life. I think that's where people they go too far, and sometimes they take their lives or things like that because they bankrupt their soul. They say there's no hope, I'm done. And no matter what you do, don't bankrupt your soul and don't allow anyone else to bankrupt you. And so how with your experience, I'm sure you faced quite a few moments where you probably feared bankruptcy of your emotions and of your soul. Like, how did you muster up enough strength to say no, I'm not gonna give up?
There was quite a few times where I would be afraid to speak because I had to learn how to pronounce certain words. And so I didn't want anybody to say, "Oh, she is incompetent. She doesn't know how to speak well." And I didn't want to be that person that always had to tell what happened to me as a this is why this is happening, this is why this is happening. And so I would just, like I said, just take a deep breath, remain positive, and say, look, Kenya, we're not getting ready to do that because I'm a very emotional person and I'm easily to cry. And so it will be times where I would get stuck in a situation and I didn't know what to do at that moment. And I would say, okay, we're not going to cry in front of everyone. We're going to figure this out. And I would be that person that would put a smile on my face, but tears is in the back of my eyes until I stopped doing that. And I said, okay, let's come up with a game plan. And before we get to XYZ, or whenever we get to a problem that we don't understand, we're going to take a deep breath. We're going to be optimistic about it. And we're not going to let others see us cry. And I have to have pep talks with myself like that. And I have to look in the mirror and tell myself that I have to write it down. I have to put it in my phone. I stopped watching crazy reality TV shows and start watching more positive things because I
Yes.
wanted everything around me to change. I rarely even listen to the radio like that. I listen to it here and there, but because I keep hearing so many negative things, I said, okay, let's just make it so where it's just a positive moment only right now, especially during this time.
Right. Wow. Yeah. And how did you how did you overcome the mistreatment that you went through from the doctors and all of those? How did you just kind of summarize that up in an optimistic fashion?
By telling my stories to others is how I got over the doctors treating me really rude because I'm going to them for help because they went to school to help others. That's their motto. And you get some people that feel like, oh, I went to school for this. So, and I had people tell me, I know what's wrong with you because I went to school for this. You don't need a CAT scan because I've been going to school for 15 years. So get over it. I know. So
Wow.
by telling my story and telling others, don't listen to the doctor, listen to yourself, is how I got over it.
Wow.
And I have a fear of doctors. I'm not going to lie about that. I have a fear of doctors because I feel like they don't ever want to help me. But
Wow.
now I just bring someone with me that's going to be a positive person and not going to be quick to get angered like I will
Yeah.
when it comes to that situation. And I bring someone with me. My support system helps me stay strong. And
Yeah.
they speak up for me when I don't know what to say because sometimes you don't know what to say and you need someone with you. And I allow my support system to speak up and say, hey, no, that's not how this shit goes. It needs to go like this, or we need to find somebody that wants to help.
Wow, that's so powerful. So this show has been so engaging. I could really have you on another hour tonight, but I know I'm going to respect your time. You're a little man over there. So thank you so much, Kenya, for being on the show. And I put your email up here. Your email is kenyascott123@gmail.com. If you guys want
Yes.
to reach Kenya, feel free to email her. And if you want to reach her on Facebook, her Facebook is Kenya Scott. You can reach her on Instagram at Kenya Reds Kisses. Okay, so those are her points of contact. Do you have any final words for the audience tonight, Kenya?
Listen to yourself, stay positive, and manifest and pray because we always talk about we're going to manifest, but we forget the praying part. So manifest and pray and speak to what you want in existence, and it will happen. As long as you put hard work behind it, it will happen. Anything that you want, but just always remember that's what you want. So put the hard work behind it.
That is some powerful advice, and I think that even you speaking that you were going to come out of those surgeries was part of the solution as to why, because I believe that God, saw your faith your faith and activated it. And because it was activated, you got what you spoke. And I think that, as you continue to speak, you are going to continue to explode exponentially as a speaker
Thank
and
you.
a business owner across this nation and the globe, helping so many doctors understand how to have empathy, how to be
Hmm.
culturally responsive when dealing with clients who may not have their experience, who may not look like them or have their background. And so I think that you definitely need to be out there and have awareness, and please keep me posted on your journey,
Will do.
the success. And I wish you nothing but success, exponential
Thank
success,
you.
this day forward. And if there's anything I can do to help you or my tribe can do to help you, please let me know. Okay. Because we are
Will
here
do.
for you. And so with that said, thank you so much, Kenya, for being
Thank
a
you.
phenomenal guest on the show. And thank you guys for tuning into the Real Talk Show with Dr. India White again. Again, here's Kenya's contact information. Make sure you reach out to Kenya. And then, of course, my website, www.india-white.com. Please go check that out. I have a fantastic master team who made me blush because they did such a phenomenal job on the website. So please check out india-white.com. You guys get a chance. Have a phenomenal night, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. And Kenya, have a great night, Queen. Take
Thank
care.
you. You as well.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.